Welcome, I'm MrPeachUK. Today I'm going to be talking about a game called The Last Haven. In short, it's an addictive city builder / post-apocalyptic survival game with zombies. At the time of writing this review, the game is in early access, released on the 20th of March 2020. I've sunk 11 hours into it, and if I'm honest, I didn't notice time go by. Literally, I had to force myself to come off it so I could get some dinner I'd not eaten all day. I'm going to break down what this game entails, what I like about it and what I feel needs improvement, and then I'm going to let you know whether or not it's worth your money and worth your time. So, let's go! Okay, so I'll start by saying that I'm actually really enjoying this game. For an early access game, it's extremely playable and I've not encountered anything noticeable that I'd define as a bug or a glitch. Before you delve in head first, you get some options that can either make your life easier or make your life harder. Now, I'm not known for my patience when it comes to survival games. I want everything and I want it now. I play Minecraft on creative mode so I can get straight into building cool stuff, but bearing that in mind, I highly recommend for your first few tries at this, putting all pride aside and instead setting your starting temperature, soldiers, resources and loot to high and the rest to low. Even with those settings, I struggled. It could be because I'm still learning the ropes, but my goodness does it get tougher to manage the more days in you get. Once you've set things how you want to, dive into a new game. You're greeted with some pretty looking scenery and straight into some hints and tips to get you started. Now, the whole premise of this game for me is to build up your community, keep them safe, keep them fed and sheltered and keep them happy. In order to do that, you need to gather resources, build bigger and better buildings and stave off multiple hostile attacks on you. At this stage in the game, there are some in-game hints to help you get an idea of what you can do and what you should be doing, but I wouldn't say there are many in-game resources to help you understand what everything does and the relationships between the buildings. I also had to fumble my way around the keyboard and mouse to find out what the keybinds were, as there's no in-game key mapping or visual for what buttons you can press. That being said, it didn't take long to get the hang of things. I'll leave links below to any documentation I found useful, in particular one for the buildings and what they do. That was a very well written guide by one of the moderators of the community. Much like a lot of city builder games, you can speed up or pause the game time in order to better micromanage things, or pass time quicker if you're waiting for something to research or build. There are relationships between some of the buildings. For example, at the start you build a warehouse to store your resources in. It doesn't cost any of your inhabitants to staff, so all it costs is some resources. There should always be a warehouse near anything that collects or produces things. So if you're building resource centres or timber mills, for example, a little further from your initial warehouse, you'd be wise to build a warehouse nearby in order to maximise production and minimise the amount of time your guys are travelling to store their wares in the warehouse. And I try to position that usually just like at a middle point between your outliers. So I'm going to sort of jump over to the music. The music's actually pretty calming in this game and can genuinely be rather relaxing, which can inadvertently lull you into a false sense of security, because at its core, the game is quite savage. Everything is out to give you a hard time. There are frequent zombie attacks, there's marauder attacks where they demand food to go away, while they basically just give you a really bad headache. Always give them the food if you can spare it. Trust me. The zombie attacks are usually the easiest to manage, however due to the way the AI works, sometimes they can be a bit slow in getting out of the way, even if you've asked them to, resulting in them getting bitten, which is as good as saying they died, because at the time of reviewing this there is no way to cure them. None. So other than the active elements trying to kill you, you have the actual elements trying to kill you. The whole time you're playing this, you also need to keep in mind that winter is coming.
The dullest words of any house. Winter is coming. Now, that's memorable.
No, seriously though, you need to bear in mind that the longer you play this, the colder it'll get. Meaning your people will get cold, fall ill, and you guessed it, die. I did actually manage to get through what looked to be a winter, which gave me hope, but it definitely didn't seem long before another bout of cold kicked in. The more your people die, the less people there are working to bring in those sweet, sweet resources, meaning you guessed it, you're screwed. There are ways to get better buildings that best combat the cold via research. The laboratory is definitely something I recommend getting immediately, as the research takes a long time to complete and it's vital to your survival. The buildings that offer more warmth though, don't do so for free. Oh no. You need coal or fuel to heat them up, and the only ways to get coal are to mine it, which isn't in huge abundance, or refine it from wood, which again needs something built in order to do so. All the while, you also need wood to build. Which brings me back to the resources. This entire game is about getting the resource balance right. I got up to around day 70 to 75 and basically ran out of wood because I was turning it into coal. Running out of wood meant I couldn't build anything else, and it became a nightmare to keep everything together after that point. All in all, I'd say this game has fantastic potential. I mean, it's great already, but it'll be even better once a bunch of improvements are looked at. Which brings me to the things I'd like to see implemented or looked at in this game. Number 1. It's all about those resources, so we need to see what's being produced versus what's being used. Currently, there is no way to tell how many resources are being generated by a building, what the difference is between fully staffing a building versus having only 1 or 2 people using it is. Also, how many resources does a building consume per day? When I ran out of wood, even with 3 meals on the go, I couldn't understand what could possibly have been eaten away at my wood stores. I still don't know. As far as I know, heated buildings only used coal, which I had none of, so that would be a useful thing to see. So yeah, we need to see what's being produced versus what's being used. Number 2, being able to better command your combat units. At the moment I can't see a way to select targets in this game. It could be that I've just not found out how to do it, but I've sunk 11 hours into this so far and still don't seem to see a way of doing so. Being able to focus on the closest target would be useful at times. Number 3, keybinds. Being able to see a list of them, at the very least a list of them, would be helpful, especially if you're just starting out. Being able to remap them would be even better. Number 4. Currently you don't get enough new settlers join often enough. It seems to cycle events between zombie attack, marauder attack, and new settlers. Maybe not in that exact order, but it can take a good while to get new settlers. But with everything out to get you, and with the frequency of attacks increasing the further in you get, it's essential to replace the people that will inevitably die. Number 5. Being able to completely remove things like the existing buildings once they're stripped bare, or removing tree stumps would be great, allowing us to build in the spaces cleared out by our resource collectors. Number 6. Just overall game balancing and tweaking. Things like how long it takes to research things, the cost of building versus how easy it is to get those resources, how often you get attacked versus how often you get new survivors join you, things like that. And lastly, number 7, the map is completely the same every time. So it'd be pretty cool if there was a way of making it like randomly generated, or making it so that it expands quicker, so like you're not waiting as long before the map gets bigger. All of that being said, would you believe if I told you this game was being developed by one guy, one lone warrior? He's been fantastic at listening to all the feedback he's received so far and implementing as much of it as possible. Whilst there are a lot of things I'd like to see improved, it isn't stopping me from enjoying this game. In fact, I'll probably be playing it again after doing this review. It's strangely addicting, and no matter how many times I've failed, I always feel like there's new ways to approach it and possibly improve on my last run. I personally wouldn't hesitate from recommending this game to anyone, even after the list of things I think that need to be addressed. This game is very much in a playable state and is only going to get better. So if you like what you see and you'd like to support a solo indie game developer, please check it out and support him. Again, I'll leave links below to the game on Steam Store and links to the Discord and community posts. I'd also like to say that no, I'm not being sponsored to make this video, however much I'd love to be. In fact, I paid around 15 quid for this game at the time, only to see it drop to a tenner the day after, which was a kick in the nuts to be honest, but do you know what? I'm enjoying it, so never mind. If you enjoyed this video, the chances are you'll like my other videos, so I'd hugely appreciate it if you subscribe to the channel. If it turns out you don't like my content after doing so, feel free to unsubscribe, but I'd appreciate the chance. I'll be uploading more videos about this game, hopefully giving you some useful tips and advice to help you get started in your own playthroughs. So if you do subscribe, make sure to hit that notification bell to be notified when I upload more about this. Let me know what you thought of this game in the comments below, and if you think you'll be adding it to your own Steam library. With that, I hope you're all staying safe and staying at home during this difficult time. I appreciate you stopping by and giving me your time today. A massive thank you as well to my subscribers at this stage too for sticking with me so far. I appreciate every single one of you. Have a fantastic day, and I hope I'll see you for a future video. Live long and prosper. Bye.